Hello. We have grown accustomed to think about the Forbidden City as a place with red walls and yellow tiles. And as we are standing inside the Forbidden City now, we would like to look at that in a little bit more detail. It is true that more than 90% of the roofs in here, they are yellow. Now this color symbolized earth. So you would have it on the roofs because it was seen, the yellow earth was seen as the most important when it came to sustain the population of China. So naturally, this would become the imperial color. And beginning from the Ming dynasty, then all of the important buildings inside the palace would have this color sort of applied to it. But if you look over here, if you peek into this gate here, then you can see that there are some buildings that does not have yellow on their roofs. Instead, it is green. And the reason for that is that green was the color that signified humility or humbleness. Because inside here, the princes would live. When an imperial prince, he was more than 10 years old, then you would move him from the north of the palace, where he had lived with his mother and his wet nurses, and into this place. You could call it almost a prince's dormitory. During the Qing dynasty, it was not a given that it was the firstborn prince that would become the next emperor. So you actually had a fair amount of competition going on in here when the princes was competing for who would become the next emperor of China. Another interesting roof we can find in this part of the palace is here next to me. You can see that the color on this building is gray. And gray was a color that was even lower status than green. You will find a lot of gray roofs if you go into the hutongs of the capital. Now this building next to me was the kitchen of the palace. When we turn the corner over here, then notice how long these buildings were. This was where you had hundreds of imperial chefs prepare meals for the imperial court. When you walk around inside of the palace, then you may wonder, where did the emperor actually eat? Where is the emperor's banquet hall? But you don't actually, in sort of Western castle style, have a banquet hall for the emperor inside of the palace. The emperor would eat wherever he wanted to. You would literally have a little army of eunuchs running around in his tail with foldable chairs and tables. If you look back there, you can see yet another roof. Now this is the roof of the Wenhuadian. Today it is predominantly black with some green around it. During the during the Ming dynasty, it was first green because it was here that the firstborn prince that would be the next emperor during the Ming dynasty, he lived. But later, the Beijing emperor made it yellow. But then during the Qing dynasty, this color was changed yet again because the Qianlong emperor, he collected the biggest encyclopedia ever collected in Chinese imperial history, called the Siku Quan Shu, with more than 300 million characters. And when this enormous book was finished, then the master copy was placed inside of this building, and you would make the roof predominantly black because black was the color that symbolized water, and you wanted to protect this amazing masterpiece of Chinese literary works from fire.